Hi and welcome. In this section, let's start looking at exceptions and error handling in JavaScript. So before I even look at what we have here, if you have watched the Intro to Programming course, you'll come across a point where I talked about errors and exceptions in programming. If you haven't watched that course, you may join it and watch the sections that are most appealing to you. So we looked at different types of errors in that section of errors. If you want to learn more about these errors, you can go ahead and join that course. So we have these exceptions and we also have errors. So what I want to do, let me go to Scratchpad, and here on Scratchpad I have this alert hello. So you can see that this is a string, but it doesn't have the closing quotation. So if I run this, this is going to give us a syntax error. So a syntax error is not an exception. That means that you cannot handle a syntax error. A syntax error is not even considered. When the JavaScript interpreter comes across a syntax error, it will just stop evaluating the program. It will tell you there's an error there. It will not even consider the program. It will stop evaluating the program until you rectify the syntax error. When there's a syntax error, the interpreter doesn't even care what that code is supposed to do. It just cares that there's an error there, and before you fix that error, that program will not be evaluated. So this is an example of a syntax error. So if we add that, it will give us the alert. Also, if you forget to add that, this will also give you a syntax error. So in case of a syntax error, rectify the syntax error, we have exceptions. And an exception, this is an error that happens at runtime. This is something that is not a syntax error. It's an error that will occur due to the way you've written your code, or something that you've written just doesn't exist. For example, we know that alert is an inbuilt function in JavaScript. So if I misspell it as alert, we know there is no alert with a double T. So if I try to run this, it will give us a reference error. So this is an example of an exception. Maybe you're pointing to something that doesn't exist, or maybe you're calling a function that is just not working the way it should. So basically an exception will happen during runtime. So it's a runtime error. So if we come here, we'll see that an exception, this is a runtime error. It happens during the running of the code, running of your application. So let's continue on in the next video, where we're going to look at this try catch. See you in that next video.